Christopher Nolan, he's been doing some promotion of Oppenheimer. That's right, but we're not going to talk about what he's talked about with Oppenheimer, because we've talked about, the fact that he didn't use CGI and how he got the idea to make this Oppenheimer movie, which was from Robert Pattinson, who gave him a book of Oppenheimer's quotes. Probably his longest movie that he's ever made. It's R-rated, which, Christopher Nolan doesn't really make, I think Insomnia was his only other R-rated movie. We're gonna get this, and we're gonna get apparently a sex scene, which might be awkward to see on the IMAX screen. I'm just saying, you're sitting in an IMAX theater, you just want to see like big, great cinema, explosions. You want to see cool like cinematography, stuff like that. Apparently, we're gonna also get a extended sex scene, which, we're going to be like, what the hell's going on? Anyways, I already talked about that. I got a bullet point from Christopher Nolan, a Christopher Nolan fan Twitter right here. It says, several revelations from Christopher Nolan following a new interview from, this is from French media. They asked these questions, which were cool. And I'm glad that they asked these questions because, just to get into the mind of Christopher Nolan. He's one of my all-time favorite directors. The man is brilliant, but this is when it comes to the brilliance of Christopher Nolan right here. So, he was asked, will you make a TV show? No. Will he make another superhero film? No. He did his Batman trilogy. It was fantastic. Don't need any more, right? Right now, the superhero genre is not where Christopher Nolan wants it. It's not where he could thrive. Christopher Nolan is not about this, the crazy, fantastical stuff and all this stuff. He did his superhero movie, his superhero trilogy, which is a Batman movie, and he started it, he ended it. They wanted him to do Superman, but he said nope, but I know a guy, and that man was Zack Snyder. Would he ever do a Star Wars film? He declined to answer. Interesting there, Chris. So, you said no about superhero movies, you said no about a TV show, but you declined to answer if you do a Star Wars film. Can you imagine a Christopher Nolan Star Wars film? Kathleen Kennedy probably was like, no. We hire people like Taika Waititi. And then he was asked, would he still be making films in 10 years? So the Quentin Tarantino question. Because you have Quentin Tarantino who goes, I'm making one more film, it's my 10th film, and that's it. Of course, he's still writing books and plays and everything like that. So he was asked, would you retire? Talk about retirement. He's not going to retire. He's going to take more of the Martin Scorsese approach and just keep on freaking making movies. I don't know if he's going to make them as frequently as Martin Scorsese and Ridley Scott, because those guys they just pump out movies. Christopher Nolan takes his time a little bit more. But he also said, too, that he won't be starting to make his next movie until all the strikes are over with, like all the negotiations are over with and people are getting paid. He will never have a TikTok account. Good for him. And apparently, too, when it comes to technology, he will have a computer that is not connected to the internet that he writes his scripts on. When it comes to filming, he doesn't have a phone on him. He doesn't have a cell phone. He doesn't have a smartphone. And it's not a problem for him that people watch his movies or any movies on their phones or tablets. So even though he's like, with the technology, he's all about the analog technology, he still doesn't mind that people are actually utilizing technology. Like, he's okay with the technology, but he just doesn't use the technology himself, which is totally fine. It's totally great. He even said in another interview that he watches all kinds of movies. He watches the Fast and Furious movies, doesn't criticize them. He doesn't criticize movies. He takes them in and goes, okay. He does that, which is totally fun. It's a class act. He's a class act.